Hey guys, this is Mila the Magician, and we are in the Theezenden. Welcome to the Zen-den. You are safe here, the Zen-den, where the magic happens. Da-na-na. Hey! And today I'm going to be telling y'all about my birth story with my daughter, Portrait, my second daughter. When I got pregnant with Portrait, it was after 2.5 years of me and her dad trying for a baby. We had got married and we wanted a second child, we wanted a boy. And so we were trying for a baby. It took me so long, many miscarriages and heartbreaks of just trying to get pregnant. When I got pregnant, it was when we finally stopped trying. Like, we had got to a point financially where we were like, we don't know if we need a baby right now. Let's just stop trying. And the very next cycle, we were pregnant. And I got pregnant, and at that time, I was already working with midwife Angelina, and we had already been prepared. She knew I was trying, and she knew that as soon as I got pregnant, we was going to be on the hot track to a baby. So I called her. I'm like, hey, I'm pregnant. And she gave me progesterone supplement, and I made it past 7 weeks pregnant, which is something that I hadn't done since Cayenne. And it was something that I felt like was a very big triumph for me, just working through fertility journey and trying to conceive. It was very hard on me. It was hard on me to trust my body. It was hard on me with my mental health. It was hard on me feeling like I could do it, especially coming from a premature birth. I really truly felt like it was impossible for me to carry a baby full term, that it was going to be something crazy for me to even think that I could do. And everybody thought I was insane for trying to have a second baby. Everybody thought it was crazy. Like, why would you even do that? So a lot of the time we were trying to conceive, it was a secret. I had a secret Instagram where I was posting my journey. And that actually, I feel like, was what got me pregnant. It shifted my energy. It gave me a community of women where we all were communicating with each other. They were cheering me on. I'm like, hey, this is my ovulation day. They like, yeah, girl, get it. Be on top if you want a boy. Like, they were really with me, and we were working it through and actually operating in a space where I had support in that. And I had friends around me that knew I was trying to conceive. But honestly, that month that I got pregnant, everybody was gone. Like, I had just me and my best friend at the time. We had went through a hardship. We was falling out, and I wasn't in a space where I was really talking to anybody. And so I was alone, and all I had was my husband, and we got pregnant. So when I got pregnant, I kept it a secret until about 6 months because I was just scared. I was scared I was going to have a miscarriage. I also just wanted to get to 26 weeks so that I could feel secure. I didn't feel like I was going to make it. I really just didn't. I thought that something was going to happen. I thought I was going to miscarry. I thought that it was going to all end. So the first half of my pregnancy was extremely miserable. I was sad. I was very private. I was very locked in. Only about 2 people knew I was pregnant. I hid it from my parents, everything. I hid everything until Thanksgiving. I popped out with my belly because I couldn't hide it. Of course, we went home for Thanksgiving, and everybody knew I was pregnant. When I was 26 weeks, it turned over a new leaf. I felt like I could actually enjoy my pregnancy, and I started mom blogging. And so a lot of you guys that have been watching me since Miracle Mama TV, y'all know I started mom blogging with my pregnancy with Portrait. And so I started documenting it. I started documenting my journey, and everything was fine. I just think that it changed me blogging and being more wrapped up in my likeness and being more wrapped up in what I was presenting to the world and my perception to other people. I feel like it put a strain on my relationship. So through the time that I was pregnant, me and my husband, we was making distance from each other. We was definitely distancing from each other. But y'all know, if you know me, I'm definitely a smack bitches first, ask questions later type of person. And especially when it came to that man. When it comes to my kid's father, I will smack bitches for rolling their eyes at that man. I do not play. Me and him been best friends since we was in the 9th grade. We was boy-girl best friends, popped up, had Cayenne, got married. That's my dog, to this day. And this is the worst thing he ever did to me when y'all hear this story. So y'all hear this story, please remember I said that's my dog. We friends, we heal, we cool, okay? Don't go get mad at him in the comments. Don't go talking about him because he don't even like for me to talk about his shit. But it's my life, it's my journey. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to speak my truth. So we started distancing ourselves from each other. I kind of saw that he was talking to somebody else and that some shit was happening, but I kind of was just like, you know what? When I drop this baby, I'ma just whoop that girl ass. I'm not about to sit here and keep stressing about it because I'm pregnant. I gotta stay tranquil. And also understand that during the time of me trying to conceive, I was starting my spiritual journey. Like, fertility is what brought me to spirituality. The first time I found a crystal, it was because I walked in a random store and I told a lady I was trying to have a baby, and she said, put on this moonstone necklace. And 2 weeks later, I was pregnant. Had a miscarriage very soon after, but I did get pregnant from the moonstone, and I was like, it's something to this shit. And that's what led me to following in all of this path. So I'm spiritual, I meditate now, I'm peaceful, I got the Theezenden in my house. Everybody can come, and the homies from the neighborhood can come and pray and meditate with me and shit. I'm bringing niggas peace. So I'm in the space of like, you know what, even if the nigga is cheating on me, I'm not going to react the way that I used to because I'm calm now, I'm healed, I'm peaceful. So I'm going to pray about it. We're going to pray about it. We're going to meditate on it. Instead of smacking the fuck out of him and this bitch, I'm just going to chill because I'm pregnant. That was my whole mind frame. So going into the baby shower, I felt like that was when I realized, like, oh, nah, it's really somebody else. It's really somebody in the picture because he just wasn't happy about anything anymore. Like, he was walking around, he was fucking mad, angry at me all the time. And I am a nurturer. I'm a caterer. Like, I'm lovey-dovey. I want to be in a nigga's skin. I want to cook clean. Like, I literally was like, my husband coming home from work. He got a hot plate. Like, I did not play about that shit. He could get a hot plate and the homie could get a hot plate. Like, I cooked for everybody. I didn't care. And I was just that type of wife that I really just wanted to make him happy. Anything that I could do. And I just felt like it was just not working. It just wasn't working. My due date was April the 12th. And so it got to March the 18th. I had my hair appointment with my girl. And it's time for me to go get my birth hairstyle. So we're all getting in the car. Me, him, and Cayenne, we get in the car. And I think he forgot something in the house. And he put his phone down on the driver's seat. But when he put his phone down, it was open on a text thread. And I'll never forget, before we got in the car, I was on the phone with his grandmother for like 2 hours. And I remember us talking and me having to like go into a room, stay to myself, because I'm like, she's like, does he talk to you? She's like, I know that y'all are together. She's like, but even from a kid, he didn't talk to nobody. Like, he don't express himself. Like, he doesn't say shit. And I'm like, I mean, he don't really talk to me neither. Shit. Like, we've been friends. Like, I mean, we talk, but it ain't, like, he don't tell me what's going on in his mind. So I had just had a conversation with the fact that this nigga don't communicate well, right? With his grandmother. So now I'm seeing this text thread and I'm like, whoever the fuck that is got an emoji. So I picks the phone up. I'm like, who the fuck is blank her name? He snatches his phone back. He goes in the house. He takes a second. I don't know if the nigga was in there taking deep breaths or what. He comes back out. He gets in the car. He puts the car in reverse. We drive. We hop on 285. He driving. I'm like, so who is, insert her name. And he's like, I want a divorce. I don't want to be with you no more. And I'm like, what? He's like, I want a divorce. I don't want to be with you no more. And I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is you talking about? We having a baby. He like, yeah, but I want a divorce. I don't want to be with you no more. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, we haven't even been arguing. Now I'm spilling it. I'm like, this nigga done repeated this shit 3 times. He ain't joking. You feel what I'm saying? But we on the highway. A bitch ready to open the door and slide out. I'm like ready to end it all. Because this nigga's what? What are you talking about? My belly's big as fuck. I'm 9 months pregnant. You talking crazy as fuck right now. I'm 38 weeks. And you saying that you don't want to be with me no more. And I'm only having this second baby because you wanted a son. And what you don't want it because it's a girl. Like, what's going on? What's going on here? Like, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. We're still driving to the fucking salon. So we get to the salon. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, go get your hair done, bro. I go get my hair done, and I cried through the whole thing. I remember my daughter being in there with me, and she didn't want to sit in the car. I don't know what it was. I think she just knew something was wrong. She don't know, like, she's 5. She don't know what divorce means. Like, she in the back vibing. But she sat there, and she's like, Mommy, you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. And my hairstylist, she just kept asking me if you okay. I'm like, okay, I'm okay. And of course, usually in a hairstylist chair, like, you want to vent. You want to talk about your nigga. Like, you want to tell her that he's cheating. You want to spill it. But it was just something in my body. I sat there and I'll never forget, while I try not to cry, I just would never forget trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. I just could not gather how I went from the happiest person in the world. I had the happiest pregnancy in my mind because of the fact that I had separated myself from whatever the fuck was going on. I'm like, I'll deal with that shit later. I'm having a happy pregnancy. My baby is going to be beautiful. She's going to be happy. She's going to be peaceful. Like, I just was so, because I was in my spiritual frequency in that mind frame, like I just was like, positive affirmations. I'm not going to let anything affect my energy. Portrait is going to be the happiest, quietest, most peaceful baby. She's going to be da da da. I just used to pray these things over my baby. Like, I just didn't care. Whatever you got, but portrait. She's going to be this, she's going to be that. So now I'm in this chair and I'm like, bitch, you done had your eyes so fucking on the ball that you're not even paying attention to your husband enough that he want to leave. Like, I just was so critical of myself in that moment. And I just was beating myself up in that chair. And to the point where I just couldn't even speak. And she, like, I'm talkative. Y'all see here, I got a fucking podcast. I'm talkative. So she's doing my hair. She's like, you okay? Like, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good. But I definitely wasn't. I wasn't okay at all. We leave the hair appointment. I got my birth hairstyle. This is now March the 18th. Everybody, that's a mouse tool for later. This is all happening on March the 18th. My due date is April the 12th. All right? Get back in the car. And now we're going straight from my hair appointment to his job because he got to work. This man had 3 jobs. So we on his way to work. I'm supposed to drop him off at work and go back home. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I've been asking you for the last month and a half. Like, the lease is up on April the 1st. Like, if we're going to sign the lease over, I'm not working. At this point, I am a stay-at-home mom. I don't do shit. I don't have no type of fucking job. My ex-husband, he had 3 jobs. I didn't do shit. My job was to be a wife and to be a mother. I homeschooled my daughter. She was the smartest 5-year-old you ever fucking did see. She knew every fucking thing under the sun. Shit she shouldn't have even known. Stuff about science. I was teaching her science and nature. We was watching tadpoles grow up to frogs. We was doing all types of shit. I was taking her to Arabian Mountain. We was literally living our best vegan, natural, holistic lifestyle. I was just in my own I was in such a serene, zen space in my life. I was truthfully living my most happy life. I was a kept woman. All I had to do was get up, go hiking every day, be happy to be in Atlanta, and live my life. I didn't have to do nothing else other than be a mom and cook some fucking food, keep the house clean. My life was just so, like, in my mind, it was like, I'm about to lose everything that I've prayed for. Like, this is it right here. So we're driving. He's like, we're not signing the lease over. I'm like, what you mean? I'm like, so where are we going to live? Where you going? He like, I'm about to go stay with her. I'm like, excuse me? So he's like, yeah, I'm about to go live with her. I'm like, so where me and the kids supposed to go? He's like, I don't know, find somewhere for y'all to be. Like, y'all gonna have to find somewhere to stay. Like, so I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, my whole, like, I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I've literally been giving my family my ass to kiss because they don't fuck with you like that, or they don't think that you're supposed to be my man, whatever it is, over the years. Because we've been through shit. The 5 years that we was in that, it wasn't perfect. So I'm literally fighting this whole situation. And now you telling me find somewhere to be. So I'm supposed to call these same motherfuckers that told me to leave you. I'm okay. Like, I was literally just like, I'm freaking out. We get to his job. That nigga got out and went and clocked into work and left me in the parking lot with my daughter having a panic attack. I sat there in that parking lot for an hour and a half, 2 hours, crying and shaking and crying and shaking and crying and shaking while my daughter was in the back saying, Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I'm hungry. Can we go to McDonald's? I took her through the McDonald's drive-thru and went back and parked again and kept crying and shaking and crying and shaking and crying and shaking. And I just really didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I called my mama. And she came. At that point, my mom lived in Alabama and she drove. She got in the car and she drove and she came, and I called my daddy and I said, Dad, I said, it's all over. I said, I'm not doing this no more. He said, what you mean? I said, he said he wants a divorce. He said he wants a divorce. I said, yeah. He said he's not signing the lease over. He said, we got to find a place to stay. My daddy took a deep breath and he said, you have a place to stay. You can come here. I said, all right. So from that moment, now I'm satisfied. Now my heart is better because my mama's on the way and I have somewhere to go. But guess what? I'm 38 weeks and I've been planning a fucking home birth. How the fuck am I going to have a home birth April the 12th if we ain't gonna have no home starting on April the 1st? Make it make sense. So you know what I had to do? I had to get my baby out of my fucking body. She gotta have whatever interest she gonna have in this fucking home that I plan this home birth in. Because on the 1st, I gotta move to Charlotte, North Carolina, where home births are illegal, where I ain't had no doctor, no gynecologist, nobody that's watching after me up here. And what, I'm gonna have my baby in an ER with a fucking stranger? Oh, no, 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 baby. This home birth we've been paying for monthly. Oh, you about to pop out this body. So boom. Now it's the 19th. My mom comes, she's here now. She wants to referee. He comes back to the house because, of course, he left and went to go stay with the bitch, wherever he went. I don't know where the fuck he went. He just wasn't at the house. He comes back. We try to talk it out. Me and my ex-husband, like, we're friends first. So there was a lot of things that in our arguments, like, they would get to a peak and we would always be like, never again. We're never going to do that again. We're never going to, like, and this was one of those times. I'll never forget us. I was sitting on the stairs and he was standing at the garage door and we were screaming at each other at the top of our lungs. And the only thing that I could say was, you waited until I was 38 weeks. I just remember screaming. I would kept screaming like, you could have been told me this shit. You'd have been like, I've been asking you what's up. Cause I had been asking him, but he wasn't really saying shit. He would make an excuse. Like, she was a coworker. So he would always be like, oh, I'm talking in a group chat for work. Cause he was a supervisor. He'd be like, oh, it's in a group chat for work. He would always play it off. So that was what we were arguing about. And to this day, that is, I hate to say it, but it's that traumatic experience for my daughter that she holds on to. And she's 12. And to this day, she'll be like, oh, do you remember that day that you and daddy were in the kitchen yelling back and forth at each other and portrait was in your belly? And this is something that she replays in her mind. Like, it's a traumatic experience for her, something that she holds on to. And I remember one time we were talking when she was like 9. And she was like, one day I'm going to tell daddy how he made me feel. And it broke my heart to hear her say that, because she knows even at her age, like, she can't say certain things or she can't react in a certain type of way. But it's still something that she holds on to. So we yelling back and forth at each other. And my mom says, look, if you're not going to help, you got to go, because we got to get this baby out. And I can't have her going through what she went through the last time because of all this stress. He took that as like he's kicked out. He has to leave. So he leaves, and while he was gone, we tried to get my baby out. So we would go to IKEA every day and walk around IKEA and walk around the mall. And I was eating the fucking eggplant. I did the eggplant challenge like 3 times. My baby ain't end up on the wall. Why? Because her ass didn't come in 3 days. So I did the eggplant challenge like 3 times. I was eating pineapple and drinking castor oil shake and doing all the crazy witches midwife's brew and all that shit. And I was shitting all over myself. Castor oil had me having the fucking squirts for days. I couldn't fucking stand it. And all through that time of me trying to get my baby out, I'm watching our joint bank account deplete. I'm watching him spend money on this girl the whole time. So the not being stressed wasn't working, because I'm trying to walk my baby out, do squats, do my little shit, I'm walking the block, and I'm seeing him spend every dollar that we have to our name. Because of course he's not signing the lease over. He's not paying the rent. So he's spending all the money. So I'm realizing, like, you gonna go to Charlotte with no dollars. You gonna go to Charlotte broke as fuck. No job. Ain't had a job in years. So what you gonna do? So I'm stressing the whole time. We got to the 25th and she put the Foley bulb in. Foley bulb is a balloon they put inside you to help dilate you. So I was only 2 centimeters through all of that, us trying to get her out. I was 2 centimeters. They put in the Foley bulb. I walked around with the Foley bulb for like a whole 2 days, 2-3 days. When she came back to check my Foley bulb, it was the 28th. So we are remembering this, correct? This all started on the 18th. On March the 18th, this all started. Okay? So I had been in labor having contractions since the 20th. I prayed to God that my daughter would be a Pisces. That didn't happen. Okay. She's supposed to be born by the 22nd for that. Clearly, we way past the time. It's the 28th, and now we're at my house, and Angelina's there. She's like, let me pull the Foley bulb out. She pulls the Foley bulb out. She's like, girl, this should have been out of you. You 5 centimeters. I'm about to pop your water. I'm like, all right, pop the water. Shit, I'm trying to get this goddamn shit undergo, and I'm trying to get this shit underway. She pops the water. I swear it just felt like I was peeing on myself for like 5 minutes. Peed all over my little couch. Okay, cool. So now I'm in labor. I'm in labor now. And the contractions is contractions. Cool. I feel like I was going to die, y'all. Like, it was like literally like, the contractions wasn't horrible to this day. Like I tell people all the time, contractions aren't bad. It's the consistency and the frequency of the contractions. You be wanting to give up on life. You be ready to cut this whole half of your body off if it could just stop. So I was in labor from that Wednesday, the 28th. My daughter's birthday is the 30th, March the 30th. She was breech. At one point, we had to like bend me over and do this little shaky thing. I had to like get on all fours, and they was shaking me. She had to move around and get into the right birthing place. But I'm so proud of myself because I didn't give up. I went through hell and high water, like, oh my God, like, while I'm in labor. And this man was leaving and coming back. Like I wasn't having a fucking baby. And it got to that Friday morning. And it was 1:30 something. Getting to 1:30. And I never forget, at this point, I'm literally on the couch with my legs propped open with like 5 pillows because they're telling me like, you can't close your legs. At this point, I'm like, man, fuck this shit. They're like, no, you gotta open your legs because you gotta dilate. And they're telling me like, you're stuck at 8.5. It's the stress that you're under. It's the things that you're going through. You gotta calm down because if you don't calm down, you're not gonna dilate like you're supposed to. So I had been at 8.5, I believe, for a whole 24 hours. I had been at 8.5 centimeters. So I'm just in agony. I'm literally like, I'm literally like, I'm brain dead. There's nothing. There's no movement. There's no nothing. I'm just on the couch and I'm, every time I get a contraction. So Angelina tapped me and she's like, hey. I'm like, hey. And she's like, you can push if you want to. I'm like, okay. And mind you, my plan was to be in the water birth, but that wasn't what it was given because now I'm 8.5 centimeters and she's realizing my baby not going to slide out like it's supposed to. She's going to have to get the baby out. So I couldn't be in the water. I had to be on the couch. So I'm on the couch. I had a chase couch like this. So I'm on the chase and my legs is open and she's like, just push. I'm like, okay. So I push and I'm pushing. And I open my eyes and it was Angelina and I'm, and I open my eyes and it was Angelina and Chastity, which was my doula. And I'm like, and I open my eyes again and it's Chastity and midwife and it's my mama. And I'm like, and I pushed again. And she's like, I can see her hair. My mama said, I can see her hair. And I'm like, for real? And she's like, yeah, I can see her hair. And by this time now, it's a light, it's a camera pointing at my coochie. It's all this shit going on. They got towels and all this shit. And I'm like, oh, wait. Now I'm like literally delusional. Like, girl, you about to have a fucking baby like right now. Because my last baby was so traumatic and so crazy. It was a C-section. I didn't choose any of this. It wasn't. I just was so in shock. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is really a baby about to come out of my fucking vagina? This is crazy. So she's like, put your hand down there. You could feel her head. And so I put my hand down there. Portrait had a full head of hair. And I was like, oh my God. And she was like, yeah, push. So I'm like, hold on. Where is her dad? My mom was like, fuck him. I'll never forget that day. I'm like, no, not fuck him. I'm like, he missed the first time. I'm not doing this again because he didn't see this one. I'm like, call him. So I'm not knowing that he's in the driveway. So she calls him. And I'll never forget. I tell him this all the time. This is some shit I tell him. Like, nigga, you walk through that fucking house so goddamn slow. He walked through that house so fucking slow. And he tells me, like, your mom didn't tell me you was pushing. She just said it's time. So I'm like, what the fuck you mean? It's time means bring your ass on. I'm about to have the baby. So he gets in there. Once he reaches where we're at, he realizes what's happening. He literally like came and was like, oh my God, babe, push. So I literally, as soon as he grabbed my other leg, I'm like, ah! I push, her head comes out. I'm like, oof. I don't know what it was. I pissed everybody off. When I took my breather, I pissed everybody off. Everybody was like, push, you gotta push her body out. And I was like, I'm tired, hold on. They're like, you gotta get out, because I'm literally looking at Portrait's little squeezed body. I'm looking at her head halfway out my body. I'm looking at her head out my coochie. All I see is like coochie and head, baby head. They're like, you gotta push. They're like, you're gonna cover her air. And I was like, ah! So she comes out, they put her on my chest. When I tell you, Portrait, it was like that girl came out the womb eating. She literally came out the body and started sucking on my titty. I was butt ass naked, of course, because who the fuck isn't butt ass naked when you have a baby? So I'm like, she gets on my boob and she's breastfeeding. And it was so bad to the point that they had to literally pull Portrait off my boob to get her to cry, because she wouldn't cry. Like, she was eating. So she didn't have no, I'm alive. They didn't smack her on the butt, nothing. She went straight from my coochie to the boob. So all of those issues where I was like, I don't know if she's going to latch. I don't know if I'm going to be able to breastfeed this child. The other one didn't latch and da-da-da. She came out the body latching on. But the thing is that I affirmed that. I affirmed it my whole pregnancy. My baby's going to latch as soon as she leaves my body. She's going to be peaceful. She's going to be quiet. She's going to have such a good temperament. I used to pray these things over Portrait. So she copped out, got on my boob. Angelina pulls her off. She's rubbing her belly. She's like, she's like, I'm sorry. I gotta hurt your feelings. She's like, I'm sorry. So she started crying, and we knew that she had her vocal box and everything was moving. She was breathing the way she was supposed to. I started molding her head. My mama started molding her head. Everything's cool. She on my titty. Me and my mama rubbing her head. Make sure she ain't got no cone head. And I just would never forget how, first of all, the placenta hurt more than the baby. When that placenta came out, I was like, God damn, that shit hurt. It was like a sting. I don't know. It just pulled it out. She did a lotus birth. I didn't cut off her umbilical cord. We didn't cut it. I let her keep it. So she did a lotus birth. They cleaned me up. I walked from my downstairs to my upstairs after I had my baby. There wasn't no, oh my God, she can't move around. There wasn't none of that. I literally walked stairs. I walked all the way up to my room and got in my bed. And they did the birth thing from my bed. I laid in my own bed at that time. They did the birth assessment and everything. And Portrait was 6 pounds, 6 ounces, completely healthy. And there wasn't nothing wrong with her. I did everything exactly the way I wanted to in my home birth and followed my birth plan. It was very much so a beautiful experience. Other than the drama I was dealing with, my home birth experience was beautiful. I listened to music. I had, sage burning, and I had my little space, and my friends came in and out. I did have, my friends. I had Kayla. Kayla, I love you. I had Kelly. Kelly, I love you. Me and Kelly, we friends from the sandbox. That ain't gonna never change. That is my best friend from high school, and she is the reason that I had a home birth. I watched her have a home birth first, and then she had her second home birth a month before mine. And so she was there when she could with her newborn baby, and we was all passing Saya around while she was there rubbing my back and being my doula. And truthfully, Kelly, I love you so much, and like, our love runs deep, and it will never change, while I try not to cry. And Kayla as well. Me and Kayla locked in forever. That's my forever sis. And she was there for me as well when I had my baby. And it was a beautiful experience to be able to have people coming in and out, and me being in my home. My mama was frying empanadas and making food, and it was great. My daughter was there. Of course, she remembers like the screaming. She's like, I just remember you screaming and being in pain. And she would come down a little bit and be like, Mommy, are you okay? She would, wipe my little sweat. But it was a beautiful experience. After I had the baby, of course, remember, guys, I have to move. It's March the 30th, and I have to get out of my house by the 1st. So before anything, my dad on the 18th, he had already told me, we're going to come on the 30th to get you guys. So that was already planned, but this is now, my baby's birthday. So I just gave birth, and my dad was there to pack up my whole house with my little brother at 3 p.m. that evening. And he came in, and the first thing my dad said to me after they packed up the whole house was, all right, I can't take y'all to dinner. I can't do anything like that because Pop passed last night. And Pop was my stepmother's father, and Pop was very special to me. Pop, when everything was going down, I remember him taking the phone and telling me that everything was going to be okay, that we was going to be buddies, and that we was going to we was gonna have our little time because he smoked bud, I smoke bud. He was like, we gonna have us a little time on the porch. We gonna have us a little time. We don't even worry about it. He said, I'm gonna set it all up for y'all. Y'all gonna have it real nice. And the story that I hear is that he prepared everything for us. He set up the bedroom. He picked out the bed set. He asked me what color I wanted things. Ooh, I am about to cry. He asked me, what color I wanted the space. He asked me what I wanted in the room. He bought the crib. He set up the nursery. He set up everything. Put the stuff on the wall and decorated everything for us to come there. He was pronounced dead at 12:36. Portrait's birth time was 1:36. And I still to this day, I really don't even, I don't have the emotions or the way to feel with that because of the fact that me and his time together was so short. My stepmom was new. She had just married my dad, maybe the year before. So we didn't have a totally amazing relationship. We also didn't have a lot of experiences with each other than my baby shower. He decorated my whole baby shower. He did the whole thing. He actually was the person who pushed for them to host my baby shower at my dad's house and for my stepmom to do all the cooking and the catering and all the stuff. And I'll never forget, he was the last person there with the balloons. And he was like, oh, these balloons, I got this lady making balloons. It was a flower. I told him I wanted a flower theme. He gave me everything I wanted. So rest in peace, Pop. You are loved. You are appreciated. The room that he died in my dad's house eventually became my daughter's room at my dad's house. To this day, now that it's not her actual room, my dad moved her room, but now that's my room. And that's the room that I sleep in when I go home. And my dad put purple stuff in there because that's what he put in the other room for me. And my reflection on my birth story with Portrait is mainly that was the hardest thing I ever went through in my life. Having a baby and being left with nothing is truly my lowest moment. And I tell people all the time that I've had hardships. I've had moments where I've been low, but I've never been so low in my life to that moment. And to have such a beautiful baby who was healthy, we had to go to the hospital for a day or two for jaundice when we got to Charlotte. But Portrait was the most peaceful child. She was the most peaceful baby. She didn't cry a lot. Even to this day, some of y'all know my baby have a speech delay. She's still quiet. She still doesn't really bother much. I ain't gonna hold you. She an Aries, so she a little bit of a firecracker. She will smack the fuck out your ass if you try her. But at the same time, she is exactly what I prayed over her. She's everything that I spoke that she would be. She is lively. I always used to say I'm gonna have a singer and I'm gonna have an actress. And Portrait is my actress. She is dramatic. She is definitely, even without the words, she gonna flip her hair and she gonna do her thing. And that's my girly girl. I got my tomboy and I got my girly girl. I got everything that I prayed for in that moment. But Portrait taught me how to be strong. Her existence teaches me to be strong. If it wasn't for the fact that I knew that I had a baby coming and I had somebody to live for, I wouldn't be here. That man would have told me he wanted a divorce and I would have took myself out because I was so wrapped up in my marriage. I was so wrapped up in the identity that it gave me to be married, to have a family, that was truthfully me losing everything. Him walking away was me losing everything. Everything that made sense to me. And Portrait made everything made sense to me. And as close to me as she was, as clingy of a baby as she was, she breastfed till damn near 3. To this day, she's 6. She still put her hand in my shirt. Not to say that true love didn't come from Cayenne. True love definitely came from Cayenne. But Cayenne taught me something different. Portrait taught me that love can be peace. That love doesn't have to be fierce all the time. That love can be soft. She also taught me that I hurt. I was a person before that fought through everything. I was going to smile through anything. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That's my first thing to say. I don't give a fuck. Bitch, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Oh, bitch started giving a fuck. Started giving a lot of a fuck. All of a sudden. because I realized that you're supposed to give a fuck about some shit. Not because of the divorce, but just because of life. Because in that space, all of the things that I said I didn't give a fuck about, there was one thing I did give a fuck about. But finally, all of a sudden, that thing I gave a fuck about said it didn't give a fuck about me. And then what did I have? I didn't have shit. So I had to find things to give a fuck about. And so I started giving a fuck about my mental health. I started giving a fuck about my life. I started giving a fuck about my purpose and what I was here on this earth for. I started giving a fuck about my mission and what I was doing for myself. I started giving a fuck about a lot of shit. And when I came out of that, I had to come to Charlotte to friends. I came back to people that took care of me. I had a friend at the time. She worked at a bank. And she was like, how are you doing? I remember her calling me. She's like, how are you doing? He ain't shit. And I'm like, I'm not okay. She's like, well, I'll get off at 5. I'll be there at 5:30. And I was like, okay, cool. And she came there the first day and she looked at me and she was like, yeah, I'm going to do this every day until you look better, until you feel better. And I said, okay. And she came. She came every day until I told her that I was okay. And that went on for about 3 weeks of me just, the only reason I'm getting up today is because I know Cayenne has to eat. I got to feed this baby off my fucking titty, so I got to eat so that she can eat. And if I don't have a smile on my face later, this girl is going to get on my fucking nerves. So I had to learn how to smile. I had to learn how to get through it. And even through all of that, I was chasing something. I was chasing nature. I was chasing my old life. And being removed from Atlanta, where I was finding myself and finding community and truthfully happy, being moved to Charlotte, where I was now in my daddy's house. This stepmother I got ain't my mama. So all that you got, you need to suppress that tone, bitch. Like, it was like a lot of things I was dealing with. But as I found myself in that process of putting me back together from losing it all, I started Miracle Mama TV. I started Miracle Mama TV, and I started what was going to turn into Theezenden, a place for me to get online and share my story and tell people what I had been going through. I was so proud, and I had so much pride. I didn't want nobody to know I was going through shit. That now I'm like, you know what? I'm going through stuff, and I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going through. And I started speaking about my experiences and what I was going through. And I realized that that was exactly what I was supposed to be doing. The purpose that I was looking for. In my mind, I was exposing him. In my mind, I was telling everybody my business so that they couldn't hear a lie, right? But also in that space, I found my true purpose. I found what I was supposed to be doing, which is sharing my life experiences to help other people. So with this, I hope I can inspire somebody who is going through a hardship, whether you're pregnant and you lost your partner, whether you're going through a pregnancy alone because he didn't want the baby or didn't want to be in a relationship with you, whether you've been through this and you've been left down and out with nothing. Baby, that was 6 years ago. I'm not that person no more. I'm not that weak. I'm not that gullible. I'm not that complacent to feel as though things are just going to happen for me. I have taken control of my life, and you can too. You can take control of your destiny. You can take control of your life. You also don't need to feel accomplished just because you're a stay-at-home mom. You don't need to feel as though that's the finish line. You don't need to feel like that's the only thing you're pushing towards is to be provided for and for a man to take care of you. Because that man going to take care of everything and leave you with nothing. I encourage everybody to have something for yourself. In 2018, I lost everything and started a business and gained it all back. In 2019, I lost it all. In 2020, I gained it all back. 2020, I made 6 figures with my business. It's not going to be tomorrow that everything's going to be okay, but you will be okay. You just got to start from one day and decide that you're going to live a purposeful life. Find you an angel in your life like I had that's going to hold you accountable for living. She didn't ask me to do anything but get up and live my life. Be there at 5:30 to answer the door for her. That was enough. And I thank you. Even though we are not close anymore, Jasmine, I thank you for the place that you have played in my life because you truthfully were an angel and you were the reason that I'm still living and that I'm still here to be a mom today. And I appreciate you for that. That is a space in my life that I would never forget you for. With that being said, thank you for listening to my story. Until next time in Theezenden, peace and love.